Hello from me, Mark Shardlow. Well, did anyone see a 7-0 win coming and then a quiet transfer window for Forest? Reds old boy Nigel Clough says he's at his lowest in 26 years of management as Mansfield lose again, whilst Notts County recruit to keep their promotion form on course. All that to talk about in today's Team Talk. Well, what a crazy few days. Forest headed off for a training camp in Dubai after a sensational 7 against Brighton. Next up, next week, it's Exeter in the FA Cup. And with me today is a man who's coached at Notts, Forest and Mansfield. It's Charlie McParland. And a special guest for part of today's programme. He's played and managed at both Notts and Forest. His young Forest team were one of the best. It's Harty, Paul Hart. Good to see you. Were you ever involved in a 7-goal game as a manager or a player?
As a manager of Barnsley, Man City did us 7 in the League Cup. Yeah. Not very nice.
No. You know, I'm going to give him a platform. I used to have a go at Charlie, but here's a Forest manager who you were in charge of Forest with Frank Barlow when you beat Swindon 7-1.
Yeah, we beat Swindon 7-1 when me and Frank were looking after the team when Gary Megson had left. It was quite surreal, really. I think we were 4-0 up. Nicky Southall had scored a hat-trick. Good lad, Nicky. His nickname was Trig. I'll let you work it out why. But he had got a hat-trick. We had got, I think we were 4-5 up, and I turned to Frank and I goes, I just want the game to finish now. Get in, we've got the 3 points. Yeah. Go in and have a beer. But we went on to get 7. So, unfortunately, they nicked a goal. Big Iffy Onuro was the manager of, Paul knows him really well, Swindon, really good guy. Yeah. And I actually felt sorry for him, you know, after the game. It's a right kick.
It's a special score, isn't it? 7, you know, it's sort of a statement, isn't it? Cool. Really?
Yeah.
I think, fantastic.
It's amazing, 7 goals.
Yeah, and even more amazing really for Forest because they were beaten 5-0 by Bournemouth last week. So what a brilliant performance to cement third spot, scoring 7. Brighton centre-half Lewis Dunk opened up the scoring with an own goal, and then Morgan Gibbs-White and Chris Wood made it 3-0 before the first half whistle. Second half saw Chris Wood complete his hat-trick, and then Nico Williams and Jota Silva made it a cricket score, well, almost a cricket score. Here's what Nuno Espirito Santo said on the game.
I think we started well, the game, really well. The own goal helps. We got lucky in that moment, even though it was a good movement of the team. There's a moment that Brighton reacts. He has a 1v1 against Mads, has a ball on the crossbar. That was the moment that we felt a little bit unbalanced and unsure. We got through that moment, and after that I think going forward they were really good. Defensively, really compact. The big guys back solve the problems, and at the same time always with the concern of trying to get out of that. Overall, delighted. More important than anything for us as a club was to give a response.
Paul, what did you make of the game on Sunday?
Well, I started the season and I was there. I remember sitting in the lounge at Nottingham Forest and talking to some friends and saying, look, you know, it's great, look, everything looks good and all that, but, you know, staying in this division is paramount and it's not easy, you know, and I think they looked upon me as being a little bit negative at that point. But I've got to say, and great credit to the manager who's gelled a team and the recruitment team. You know, you could question 2 years ago, you could question the calibre of a player coming in, but I think what's happened now has been fantastic, and you've got to give credit to the managers, the way they play on the counter with pace. It's very exciting. But I must say I've been very impressed with the 2 centre backs, Morello and Milinkovic. Fantastic. Yeah, I think that's been the key, the 2 centre backs.
Yeah, no, I agree. And played 3 at the weekend, and I thought Moretto had a great game as well. Yeah.
Well, I totally agree with Paul. You need like the goalkeeper and the 2 centre backs. That's where you build your platform for. And the 2 centre halves and the goalkeeper are magnificent. And I just look at the team shape there. and he's got it right again, you know. He's not got it wrong very often. He's played 3 at the back, changed it to 3-4-1-2, and he's put Alanga up front with Woods, and he's got Morgan Gibbs-White at number 10, and Morgan Gibbs-White run riot. Yeah. They couldn't handle him for that number 10. They've got Elliot Anderson and Danilo in there. Delighted to see Danilo back. They've got so many good midfield players, Danilo, Dominguez, Elliot Anderson. They've got Sangare coming back. But he's got the system bang on. Instead of going with the 2 wide players and 1 down the middle, or in Gibbs-White at 10 and playing the back 4, he's went 3-4-1-2, and it's just worked again. Yeah. He's got everything right. There's 7 good. They're a wee bit fortunate with the OG, but you need a wee bit of luck in this game. And we questioned them last week how they were going to bounce back from the Bournemouth game. There's your answer. Yeah,
and they did it with 37% possession as well. I mean, you guys are coaches at the highest level.
I mean, there's a saying, isn't it? You can, it's about scoring goals, and you can pass it up your backside for 3 hours and go nowhere these days. So I think they're fantastic. It reminds me very much of the Nottingham Forest side in the late 70s that went to win 2 European Cups, where they soaked it up and were dynamic on the break. Fantastic.
It's similar style, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Similar. Brian Clough's teams there. Yeah. Soaked the pressure up, then broke, but also what they do now as well with the ball, and when they've got the ball, they're pretty good at keeping it as well. Yeah. And it's like Paul says, it's what you do with possession. So that 37% possession that they had, they have done a hell of a lot more than Brighton's 60 odd possession. It's what you do when you're in possession, and they score good goals. They score well-worked goals, and it's pretty straightforward.
That's improved as the season's going along, because at the start of the season they were like a 1-0 team, weren't they? 1 goal here, 1 goal there, where goals coming from. But they're playing with much more freedom now.
Well, it's interesting on the counter. We have a saying in the counter, once you win it and you break, I mean, they break with some phenomenal pace. Don't turn back. And Nottingham Forest don't come back and chop very often. When they break, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. And Chris Wood, I mean, we've mentioned Chris Wood, but looking at his stats, the conversion rate, highest ever in the Premier League.
I don't know if you remember, Charlie, but we went to Brighton to watch a game, and Chris Wood played when, what's his name? The Argentinian manager.
Gus
Poyet was manager. And he was on loan there. Yeah. And he played, and he was unbelievable. I thought unbelievable that he was a younger man. Obviously, it was a long time ago, but he was excellent. Now he's got the nous as well. He's a very clever player.
Were you on a scouting trip then?
The first time I watched Chris Woods, he was playing for West Brom. He came through West Brom as a kid. Yeah. And I liked him right away there. And what he'd done at Burnley for Daichi was fantastic. He was double figures every season, and he was one of the main reasons that they kept Burnley in the league. And apart from one season, Daichi's did fantastic and got in Europe. Everybody forgets about that with Sean Dyche, when he took Burnley to Europe. So, and I kept telling you, and you wouldn't listen at first, if you play to Chris Wood's strengths, the fans were having a go at him when Steve Cooper was here. I said, if you play to his strengths, he will get you goals. And I was right.
Yeah. And Morgan Gibbs-White, I mean, Charlie touched on it earlier. I thought it was sensational at the weekend. Really, really classy performance.
He's very light. And as a number 10, as Charlie said earlier, it's a position I love to see good players in, because when you're mobile and got half a brain, and I don't mean that, but he is a clever player. Yeah. You can cause havoc.
Yeah, well, that's a sort of statement performance. I thought at the weekend, the last couple of weeks, have been statement performances really.
It'll be interesting. Again, Nuno will probably change it again. But will he go back to his 4? His 4-2-3-1,
Yeah.
Or will he stick with his, like, obviously it'll depend who he thinks who they're playing. Will he stick with his 3-4-1-2?
Yeah.
So, listen, take my hat off. I think he's a real good manager. I think he's very level. You know, he never gets carried away too much and doesn't get down too much. Well, there's not been a lot of reasons to get down this year.
5-0, well, no, 5-0
Well,
defeat.
5-0, that's
He
one,
took
but-
it as a level, 7-0 win.
But,
Same
yeah,
sort of
but let's
level.
not forget, like,
Yeah.
like we say, like there's people like having a pop,
Yeah.
like about the result against Bournemouth and having a pop at Notts County and these teams in Mansfield.
Yeah.
The three teams are doing well. Notts County, they're up the top.
Yeah.
Forest, third in the Premier League.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Let's like enjoy it.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fantastic. And then we got the FA Cup coming up next, which, I mean, surely Forest are going to be targeting the FA Cup as well.
I'm one of those people that think that teams should try and win everything.
Yeah.
If you're on it,
Yeah.
winning is a good habit to have.
Yes.
Yeah, and it feels like there's momentum. This season feels like the momentum is just keeps it's building almost, isn't it? You know.
They've had the most clean sheets
Yeah.
in the Premier League.
Yeah.
They've probably, apart from those 5 goals, which again dented them a bit, they were the second best defensive team for conceding goals.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's changed a bit, but those 5 goals that they lost at Bournemouth,
Yeah.
they've grappled them back by the 7 plus 2.
Yeah.
So it's all ifs and buts if they'd got a
Yeah.
better result, unless
Yeah.
their goal difference would have been. So it's took their goal difference up a bit for the league. But I'd love to see Nottingham Forest have a right go for the FA Cup.
Right. Okay, we're going to have a break now and we'll come back. We will also be looking at the Nottingham pub that handed out free pints every time Forest scored at the weekend. Hello and welcome back to Team Talk with myself, Mark Shardlow, Charlie McParland and Paul Hart. We're now on YouTube as well as Notts TV on Freeview and Virgin, so you can find us everywhere. Well, one Nottingham pub came up with a great marketing ploy ahead of the Forest game. They thought it would be a great idea to give everyone a free pint for each goal Forest scored. And things got very messy at the Gedling Inn. Take a look at this.
When you win the league and it's like a pitch invasion, every time we scored a goal it was like an invasion to the bar, because obviously there's 50, 60 people in here and the goals were going in on average every 15 minutes, so you can imagine they didn't get a chance to finish the first pint, then there was on to the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, so yeah, it was crazy, but it was a buzzing, it was a great atmosphere.
I never thought that they would score 7. We were thinking maybe 2 or 3, but it was nice to give something back to the fans after a big loss the week before.
I'd say close to 300 pints of alcohol. We never tallied up the soft drinks that were given away, and obviously pints of water, but it was close to 300 pints of alcohol.
We just managed to get the Forest games on TV, so we wanted to get it out there to get people to come in and watch and support them. So we just thought we'd put a crazy offer out there to try and get people in, and it worked. Yeah, we're already in talks about doing the offer for the next game. Maybe not as dramatic as this, but definitely do something. When the final whistle was blew, it was a bit of a sign of relief.
And it's true, is it, that you at half time you were racing there trying to get there as quickly as possible? The thought of a free pint?
Maybe if I'd been in the vicinity, like, and I heard maybe you like jumped in when it was like 2 or 3-0. But listen, great advertising, innit?
Yeah.
Great advertising, innit?
Yeah.
Listen, they seem really nice people, and they've stuck to their word.
Yeah.
They've stuck to their word. So if you're in there in the afternoon for the game, and like your wife or whatever's waiting for you coming home, you're going to be like walking down that road, stotting down that road after 7 free pints.
I mean, it's not going to happen again. I don't know. This is such a crazy season, isn't it? Yeah. It's mad. So, well, you've seen a fair amount of Forest this season, Paul. How do you assess this amazing run that they're on?
I just think it's been. I look at it as being a natural progression in both. I mean, the key to everything is, for me, at all levels, is recruitment. And The Premiership is cruel and brutal, and staying in there is the key. So, you know, over the past, is it
This is the third season.
third season, 2.5 years, whatever, you know, they've got in there, they've got promotion, they've tried things, some things have worked, some haven't, and ultimately, you know, they found a way of getting players in. Then they've found a manager who can gel them, which is important, into a shape that they seem extremely comfortable with. And I said earlier, the two centre backs look like they're pals.
Yeah.
You know, which is it's a key to everything. You know, and I know they played three the other day, but I'm just talking about those two, Morello and.
Blankovic.
Yeah. And how was that? When you played centre back, did you have like a mate at centre alongside you? Did that make a big difference?
Well,
if you trusted that guy?
Not
next
always,
to you?
but you know, I was brought up that you don't have to like everybody you play with, but you have to have a respect. You know, so but generally it worked better when you got on, and most people that I've played with, I got on with. You know, and we were friends, and it does help.
Yeah.
I think it's just going back to like when we used to have the young boys when Paul and me and that were bringing them through. If we went on overnight stays and that, we tried to put the two centre halves together,
Right.
two full backs together. We were sort of 4-4-2 then, or a diamond, or we would put the two strikers together.
Just that bonding.
And just, you know, a bit bonding midfield players together.
They might just
it might
have
not
a
be
little
nothing,
chat about something. You know, the preparation these days is there's a lot to talk about before you go to sleep on a Friday night or whatever, in terms of you know what the opposition are going to do. You might just say one or two things that helps within the preparation for the game.
It might help, it might not.
Yeah.
But, it's
But
worth a try.
now they don't have. I don't think they have double rooms anymore.
No, they wouldn't share
No,
now.
no. It's like
Have a
things
sweet
have changed.
apiece.
You mentioned recruitment, and of course the other strange thing about this transfer window was effectively no new additions to the first team squad, which is a rarity over the last half a dozen seasons or so for Forest.
With that, I'd like to have seen a bit cover for Chris Woods.
Yeah.
But in all other areas, I think they're perfect. It's just, I just worry about if Chris Woods does a hamstring, does a quad, he's getting on a bit, he's on fire, then I don't think Awoniyi is in the right frame of mind at the minute to come in and take over that mantle.
Yeah.
So that's a wee bit worry for me.
I'd be prepared to take the risk. I think the January window is a rogue. You can make a lot of hasty sort of decisions, and they turn out to be mistakes.
It's a desperation window.
It's in January, you know.
It is a desperation
So they
window.
probably got things sorted out for the. I mean, Arsenal have more or less done the same.
Yeah.
If you look at it,
They've
you know,
got
if
their
it was comes
targets.
to the worst, they could maybe put Gibbs White up there. Different.
Yeah.
Well, he's played up there most last two
You
seasons.
sort of said, you know, they looked at Cunha, and you sort of said you'd worry about that. That would affect the stability of the squad. Vissa, I think, would probably have been a decent signing, but the money that they were asking was ridiculous. So, I guess, like you say, you sort of take a balanced view, and you're going with it. It's working at the moment.
Yep.
What's to stop it working?
They could put Alanga up there. It's a different proposition.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to get a hold of it like Chris Woods or win flick-ons or Gibbs White. If you stick Gibbs White up there, he can he'll run off people. You know, it's a different.
Yeah.
You have to change your game slightly.
Yeah.
But Nuno, you have to This is where I see a manager, a good manager. It's like the boys went in at Man United, can't win a football match, Harley.
No.
But Nuno's got all those players together, and he's looked at it, and like Paul said, he's gone, this is how we're going to play with this team because it suits these players. So for me, that is a good manager.
Yeah.
A manager who's not a good manager comes in and puts a team together, tries to stubborn with his system, and he's not got the players for the system, and they keep losing. Yeah. For me, that's madness.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the table then, which is great reading. As ever, it just keeps getting better and better, really, for Forest. Third place in the Premier League. Arsenal, what a win for Arsenal. Talk about crazy results at the weekend. Arsenal scoring 5 plus Manchester City, but second place Arsenal, top Liverpool, third place Forest, a little bit of a gap to Chelsea, probably 5 teams going into the Premier League, Man City getting a walloping and then desperation, spending God knows how many millions during the window. It's looking Forest to lose now.
Well, listen, there's a lot of football to be played. I think, what is there, 6, maybe 14 games left? Yeah. So, but again, Forest, they're relentless.
Yeah.
And if they carry on in how they've been doing since the start of the season, they could be in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And it'd be amazing, Paul. Champions League at the City Ground. Yeah. Imagine Real Madrid coming, or Barcelona.
Yeah.
Will
it get harder when you realise that the Champions League is in touching distance? Does that affect the mentality? At the moment, they seem to be playing with the freedom. Does the pressure build when it's in touching distance, do you think?
I'm not sure it does. I mean, I can only speak for myself. I didn't experience that extra nervousness because we were in a lofty position, wherever I was. Not many places I've been. But I've had the odd venture up there. But no, I don't think so. I think Europe is a byproduct of winning football matches.
Yeah.
And I think they've got an awful lot to concentrate on in terms of maintaining this wonderful pace in the game and stamina and energy, and I think that will keep them, from being disturbed.
Yeah,
they've got young lads in there who Alanga, Hudson-Odoi, Elliot Anderson, Murillo. They're all young lads who are. I think he might need to put the reins on them at times, because they're that bang.
Let me show you the next 6 fixtures, because I think that this is it's a 6 I think that will determine what's going to happen towards the end of the season. If we have a look, I mean, Exeter obviously in the FA Cup, and then the sort of Fulham, Newcastle, Arsenal, Man City. That feels like a set of games that will pretty much determine, I think, where Forest are heading.
Well, we spoke about that before Christmas, didn't we? Because they had a right tough schedule, and they went and got 9 points out of that. And if they can go and get 9 points out of this one, or even 7, I think they'll be in good. They'll be in good shape. And again, they're capable of beating anybody on their day. They've beat Liverpool. They've drawn with Liverpool. They've went down to Arsenal. They lost the game, but they're capable of beating Arsenal.
Yeah, but it's almost the Man City game that's the key. If you think of like that 5th position in the league, well, if Forest can get a draw with Man City and they don't, the points difference remains the same.
You look at that the way Man City on any given day can blow anybody away, right? But if you look the way Man City play and the way Forest play, Forest are great at soaking up that pressure. Then if they're hitting Manchester City on the break, with the players that Nottingham Forest have got, I think they can cause them a real lot of problems. Yes, that's in exciting times. I think that a real toughie is that Newcastle one. I think that is a real toughie, because on their day as well, they've got so much energy. They're like Forest.
Yeah, exciting times, you said, and I think spot on there. Well, after the break, we'll look at Nigel Clough's anger and frustration at Mansfield Town and Stuart Maynard's delight with Notts County. Hello and welcome back to Team Talk with myself, Mark Shardlow, Charlie McParland and Paul Hart. Well, Nigel Clough said on Saturday that defeat at Shrewsbury left him as low as he could ever remember in 26 years of management. The Stags got off to a flying start with Will Evans opening the scoring in the 5th minute against the bottom of the table side, and things got better when the Shrews had a man sent off. But what happened? Shrewsbury scored twice to take all the points. The squad were dragged in for training on Sunday morning, and then Nigel Clough made 2 deadline day signings to try to freshen things up. And Mansfield signed Caelan Vickers on loan from Brighton until the end of the season. He's 20, he can play across the entire attacking line. He scored 5 times in Premier League 2 this season for Brighton's under-21s. and also played 24 times for Reading last season. And then a big name, Jordan Rhodes, who's turned 35 this week. He scored loads of goals at his many clubs. He joins the Stags on loan from Blackpool. He netted 15 League One goals for them last season, but hasn't played much this year, and says he's excited to get back doing his job on the pitch.
You know, footballers go in every day, they train every day. Their purpose for life is to be there and available for a match day, or to be in the squad and available for selection on a match day. And you know, minutes were tough to come by, so I'm hoping to come here to be hopefully part of something pretty special, and yeah, helping contribute whichever way that means possible. There's been 2 or 3 months now where I've not particularly enjoyed going into work, and those match day situations are what you live for as a footballer. So yeah, I'm hoping to come into an environment where I get back to enjoying my football again, and yeah, I can't think of a better way to come do it than here.
So you both know Nigel. He's saying it's his hardest time in 26 years of management, which is quite a statement. I mean, he said it in the emotion of defeat on Saturday, but this is a team that's overperformed for much of the season, but suddenly lost 5 in a row, 3 against bottom of the table teams, and suddenly not playing well, lacking confidence, leaking silly goals. And you could see in his interview at the weekend that he was just frustrated, dragged them in on a Sunday. What would you do if you're managing a team that suddenly seems to have lost its way for no explicable reason?
Well, it's really difficult, you know, because I think the major thing on Saturday was they were controlling the game. Yeah. You know, when it was 11v11, they were 1-0 up, they were on the ascendancy, they had all the possession, and they were looking to go and score another goal. And I wish the lad hadn't got sent off. You know, another yard that's in for a penalty, 2-0, and it's all ifs and buts. Yeah. Then, right after the lad got sent off, they seemed to have a little struggle. I think that and human beings in football, they thought, we're just going to win this.
Yeah.
And they struggled from that point on. The ball that went to the back stick, you know, and then the lads headed it down. Normally Bailey Cargill would get up and head that out, you know, he was sort of ball watching a little bit. These things happen. The other one, it's went in at the near post. And sometimes, and Nigel's been through all this before.
Yeah.
But I actually, it doesn't matter if it's Nigel or any manager. You know, when you see it, like, and it's tough. And Paul knows he's been a manager. I've been a manager, try to keep Notts County in the league. And you do get days like that where it really drags you down. But that's when Nigel's staff, you need your staff then to help you. You know, that's what your assistant manager's for, and you know, to drag you out and get through it. And they'll get through it. Yeah. And the players have to give the manager a bit back, and they have to pull each other through it collectively.
Yeah. And were you ever a manager who'd bring him in on a Sunday if you'd had a bad day on a Saturday?
Yeah, but I give him to my staff. I say, you get in and do it. No. No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think I have.
I can't remember a time when we brought them in on a Sunday because,
I think. Look, I wouldn't dream of saying to Nigel what to do. He's a very accomplished manager, and you know, he's entitled to be disappointed at times. And like a proper manager, you know, he's shown his disappointment. I don't think there's anything wrong in that. No. And he'll be dealing with things. I'd say we get back to basics in terms of edit. He'll have heard this from his dad. Yeah. Edit, kick it, all the basic stuff. Get a goal. I can hear him now saying it.
Hey, Brian.
Get a goal.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then you know, and you know, sometimes you do need a little bit of luck. You know, it might go in off your toe end or something like that, and that just slows things down and steadies things down a bit. But he knows what to do. He's a great manager for me.
Yeah, because momentum's a strange thing, isn't it? Like you don't understand. I mean, earlier in the season, Stags lost a few in a row, but they were playing really well. They were unlucky. Then they went on a winning run, won half a dozen in a row. Now they're back on a losing run, but this time they're not playing well.
That's it. That is quite so. You know, on Friday night when they play Northampton, see if they don't play well and win the game, I'm quite chilled with that. Yeah. And Nigel will be chilled with that as well. But then again, I say the players now, he's got players who can get on the ball and pass that ball. So it's up to them to take responsibility as well as the manager. It's a collective thing. And they've got players in there. They've got big characters in there. You know, Aidan Flint's he's a leader.
Yeah.
You know.
And he's brought another one in, hasn't he? I mean, he's looking like, what can I do? He's brought him in on Sunday, and then he's gone to the transfer window. He's probably gone to the chairman and said, like, we need to freshen things up a bit. And Jordan Rhodes, have you come across Jordan?
I know Jordan. I would think that's a great signing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good lad, and he knows how to score goals.
That's it. And a big miss for Nigel is Deji. Deji's been ever present. More or less, he's been in every team from the start of the season, playing in the central bit, the three, or he was a centre half when they played the diamond at the start of the season. He's picked up an injury, and he's a big miss. You know, he's got a bit of everything. He can head it, he can kick it. You know, he's quick. You know, in that central area, powerful.
Yeah.
And he's there's certain players who you do miss.
Yeah, you missed that, but like you say, I mean, he's gone for experience again.
Yeah,
with Jordan Rhodes.
Jordan Rhodes. You know,
He knows
if the ball's bouncing about in that box,
yeah,
you know, he'll be on it.
Yeah.
If it's bouncing in that 6-yard box, he's going to stick in the back of the net. And then, you know, that we've had Lee Gregory's had his couple of injuries and we've missed him. So if he gets injured again, or Will Evans gets injured, we've got Reece Oates in there as well who can do a job. But if he plays Jordan up with one of them, be it Lee or be it Will or that, their work rate and the power, then you've got Jordan, who's just a pure poacher.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the table then. I mean, survival was the aim for this season, and on the face of it, that's a decent mid-table position. 37 points from 27 games. It's just the momentum, really. I think that the fans are starting to get concerned about. You know, lose a couple more, and where does that leave you? But season as a whole, that's a decent return. That's what you'd expect, I would imagine, from a team like Mansfield, first season up there.
Like we spoke about, as the season went on with Nottingham Forest, the expectations kept going higher and higher.
Yeah.
And Mansfield's start to the season, the fans and everybody, the expectations keep going higher and higher. But you have to keep it real and keep it in context. And if they win their game in hand, they're back up to the top half of the table. It's all ifs and buts.
They're only 7 points away from a playoff position as well. So
if
it's a glass half full or a glass half empty, you know, I think, you know, 2 or 3 wins and a bit of momentum, you see a playoff charge. You know, I'm not saying it would, but it's as you could look at it that way as well.
Yeah. Yeah, if we look at the games coming up, and we did this a couple of weeks ago, and we were relishing the fact that we were playing 4 of the bottom teams in the league, and we're thinking like it's going to be the playoffs position. Northampton this weekend just got Kevin Nolan in, who used to manage at Notts County, picked up, had a decent win against Huddersfield at the weekend.
Again, they're all tough games. But I think the disappointing thing and how the fans will look at it is the last few games have played teams in the sort of bottom of the league.
Yeah,
but
that's the key, yeah.
But these boys at the bottom of the league, these teams are fighting for their life. And it's another league they've stepped into. You know, it's an upgrade to League 2. So, and some of these teams will get out of trouble.
Yeah.
And everything's tough. And but again, it's important everybody sticks together. And they'll be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be okay.
But as a player, when you're looking at forthcoming fixtures, surely you see you're playing bottom of the league. It's you feel like this is a game we're going to win, or we should win, or whatever.
What do you think of that, Paul?
I think that's a dangerous way of looking at things. Yeah. I've never had the luxury of those sort of thoughts. Thinking, you know, it's playing football in England's tough. Nobody gives you an easy game, I don't think, anywhere. You know, and I think you can look at it and you say, we should win that and all that, and then you get a kick in the doodads.
Yeah.
No, I have never taken anything for granted. Yeah. Be it playing against a player or playing against a team, thinking you're going to go there and win. Never.
So what's your team talk this Friday then, home against Northampton? What sort of things are you going to be saying in the changing room?
Well, I would, you know, going back to what I said earlier, you know, just making sure that all the components are working at the most effective. And you know, I heard Charlie say they've got some good players who pass it around. I wouldn't be too interested in how well we looked. I'd be interested in, you know, are we making those challenges? Are we being strong? Are we being purposeful? You know, on the front foot, all those sort of things, which leads to building confidence. You know, because then you know you're looking at protecting the cage and going for, you know, trying to get a goal to win, and then the win. You know, the next game you play, you stay relatively the same, but you're into that game with a bit more confidence because everybody's been doing the right things.
Yeah.
You know,
Paul, thank you. Loved having you. Thanks for joining us today. We've really enjoyed your comments and your insight too. Me and Charlie will be back after the break to talk Notts County after they grabbed a win on the road at Gillingham. Hello and welcome back to Team Talk with myself, Mark Shardlow and Charlie McParland. Always good to have Harty on.
Yes, always good to have the big man on, cheer everybody up.
Yeah, almost as grumpy as you, I would say.
I'd probably say grumpier.
Right, Notts County, who Harty of course played for and managed to go into the home game with Morecambe this week full of confidence. Nick Cerullo grabbed the first goal at Gillingham with a bit of a scrappy one that dropped to him from a corner, but all the attention's on the second goal, which if you haven't seen it, definitely go and watch. David McGoldrick with a superb dink over the goalkeeper, very much like the Ramirez chip at the Camp Nou in the Champions League. Head coach Stuart Maynard says Notts are now fully focused on trying to get 3 points every weekend.
I thought first half we were absolutely outstanding. I thought we controlled the game from minute one, not minute one to be fair, after 10 minutes. They come out really fast, we knew they'd put it on us, we knew we'd have to weather it a little bit, long balls in the channel, but after that I think we took control of the total game and we probably should have been 3 or 4 up and it should have been more of a comfortable win, but you have to give credit to the opposition at times. They come out in the second half and they made a fist of it and they had a go, and you always know that if you don't get the third and put the game to bed, there's always that slight little worry at the end.
Just a word, I mean, I know you're a big fan of David McGoldrick, but just a word about how he's playing at the moment. I thought he was superb at the weekend.
He's playing out his skin, David. He's top class. He's kept himself fit. He's never relied on his pace in his game. It's always been guile. He's a clever, smart footballer, I call him. Takes up great positions in pockets, plays on the half turn, makes goals, slides people in. Then the goals he scores, some of them this season have been ridiculous goals he
That
scored.
was sensational, I thought, at the weekend. Just tell us, you played striker, what skill is required to do that little dink over a keeper?
Oh, listen, he's bearing down in the goalkeeper at full pelt. And then he's slowed up and just a little dink over him. Like, it's sheer class. He's got loads of technical ability, and it didn't surprise me he scored that goal.
Yeah.
And
that's confidence as well at the moment, isn't it? Because you play a shot like that, it can go badly wrong and you look a mug.
Well, listen, if it goes like, if you do that and it goes over the bar, the manager's saying to you, why did you not slide it in at the goalkeeper's feet?
Yeah.
But when you've got a bit class and a bit quality and you dink it, you have to take your hat off them and go, hey, well done. And the manager is very lucky to have a player like David McGoldrick playing in his team in League Two, because he is the difference. He's been in the difference in a lot of games, and he was quite reluctant to play him at the start of the season because the only way I can think of is because of his age, and I don't like people getting written off because of their age. And David, it doesn't matter if you're a manager, coach or a player, and David has showed he's looked after himself in games like down at Swindon. Notts weren't in the game. He scored 2 great goals to win them the game. Yeah. The Swindon game up here, David's did the same. You know what I mean? He's different class. He's a talisman. He's good in the dressing room. He's good on the training pitch. He wins football matches for you. I have to take my hat off to to David McGoldrick. And I'll be honest with you, the Notts County team.
Is that your phone ringing? Because that's a fine if that's your phone.
Is that a fine?
ringing.
I can't hear anything. What was that? What was that?
Tell me something like the transfer window. I mean, there was a lot of rumours about Jatta leaving the club, and we said last week on the programme, if you're gonna aim for promotion, you've got to keep your best players.
Of course. If they had sold Jatta, and I think there was a few suitors, I'd have been very disappointed with the owners of Notts County Football Club, because it didn't show any ambition.
Yeah.
You have to keep your best players.
Yeah.
And for me, Notts County are potentially a championship club.
Right.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
If you can get out of this league, then you add better players for the next league. And, you know, I think potentially, because I've played for Notts County in the top league now, which is the Premier League,
Yeah.
the Championship now, which is the second division, and in League One now, which is third. Notts County, potential championship team.
They made a signing, Mai Traore, who's from Frederiksberg, Norwegian. You've done a little bit of research on him. You've spoken to one or two people.
Yep, Eric Backer, who I worked with in Norway, I was Eric's assistant manager. I spoke to him, and he says he's come for the top flight. He's a decent player. Yeah. So fingers crossed that. I don't know if he's a replacement for Jatta at the end of the season or whatever, because there'll be more suitors at the end of the season. Yeah. So we'll wait and see.
Let's have a look at the table and see where it's put Notts going into this sort of final 2 or 3 months. I mean, that's a great position, isn't it?
Oh,
in an automatic position. Yeah. Even Walsall are wobbling now at the moment as well.
Walsall, the striker went back. He was on loan.
Yeah.
The main man who scored, I think, has got about 15 goals. He's gone. I think Walsall will have a little wobble, and I think Notts County could catch them and go and win the league.
Yeah, win the league.
Yes,
wow.
I think Notts County, they're on a run. They've got good football players. They've got the best players in the league. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Who was the manager of Notts County at the start of the season? Last time they got promotion.
I think it was somebody. I think it was somebody called Charlie McParland.
It was indeed.
A little fat Scotsman. I wasn't as fat then or heavy then, but no, that was actually me and my staff put a right good squad together. Yeah, and there were certainties to get promoted. The players that I had, if I'd ended the season and not got promoted, it'd have been a failure. And I told the players that at the start of the season when I had a meeting. I says, "What's in this dressing room? Me, these players, my staff. If we don't get promoted, it's a failure." Yeah. Unfortunately, everything's gone hunky-dory.
Well, you had Munto Finance come in, came in, Campbell came in.
And it was,
it all
but they were a great bunch of lads. Yeah. They had character.
But what it does show is how rare a promotion has been in the Football League for Notts County. Because when's that? How many years?
I think that was about 2010 maybe? Yeah. Round about then, aye. So I think, because I was there I was manager in Notts County for over 2 years, and really.
So promotions don't come along very often. No, you need to cherish it, and it is it's a big achievement that Stuart Maynard is playing great football, 7 out of 9, and all looking good so far. And you think capable of winning this league?
By a mile, he's got the best players. You know, it's like I had the best players in the league by a mile. Then. Yeah. I wouldn't say it was because I was a fantastic manager. Because I've got good players, you know how to handle them. You know, if you've got Lee Hughes in your team, you know, Neil Bishop, Ben Davis, Johnny Jackson, we could have went on the next. I fancied us get promoted that season, then into the next season in League One, add 4 and get promoted again.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you get on a roll, and you know, and they were good lads. Yeah. Good players, good lads.
Brilliant. Well, it's going to be a great end to the season, I think, down at Meadow Lane. We'll watch that with interest over the coming weeks. We're just moving over now to talk about the Forest women's team, and head coach Carly Davis says she's happy with the way the team are playing after they returned to the top of the National League at the weekend. Millie Chandarana and Charlie Wellings scored the goals for the Reds as they saw off Halifax on the road, continuing their unbeaten campaign in the league. And here's Carly on what the win means for their season.
What we wanted from the girls today was to show a little bit of flair in the final third and create more chances than we have done in previous weeks. I thought we did that in the first half. We've had 2 very good team goals and really well taken goals from Millie and Charlie. Probably could have had and should have had 2 more. And then the second half, you know, again, we've created a lot of chances that we just haven't managed to convert. But the positive that we take from today is that we've created a lot more chances than we have in recent weeks. And once we start converting them, that's going to be a good place for us to be.
Just going well, isn't it? Top of the table, doing everything they can. Cup finals, that's all you can do.
Yeah, well, again, we talk about it. They've went full time.
Yeah.
I think they're probably the only full time club in the league. They've signed good players, so there's expectations there, and you expect them to go to the next league.
Yeah.
Then you expect them to get even better players.
Yeah.
If they're funded. It's all about budgets, and the Carly's doing a good job. Then go for the next league. Into the top league.
Only one promotion. I mean, that means the pressure's pretty much on throughout, isn't it?
I think that's a wee bit wrong. Like even
I don't know any league really where there's just one team that goes up.
Well, again, like this one team. You know, I think there has to be 2 teams at least, or have a playoff for a second one.
Yeah.
And even in the men's football they're talking about in the National League. Yeah. I think 2 should go up from the National League.
Yeah, I think
they're trying to make it happen next season.
I think they're pretty unanimous in that they want that to happen next season.
And I think in the women's football, I think that should happen as well. You know, it's a big pressure, one team. I think that's wrong.
It's just pressure, isn't it? Really, you can't afford a slip. Is the bottom line.
There's lots of pressure, but football brings pressure.
Yeah,
that's it. You have to get on with that.
Yeah.
But I think it's fair to have an extra one.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
Right. Good luck for them this coming weekend. It's time now for your weekend predictions, and we've got Forest against Exeter in the FA Cup. It's on Tuesday night, so we've got a little wait. Forest have been in Dubai. I suspect there'll be 11 changes to the team that plays against Exeter, with a few of the first teamers on the bench. Is it a banana skin or is it straightforward?
Nothing straightforward in football. You have to be at the top of your game. Whoever goes out there and plays, get on with it. Yeah. Get on with it and go and win the game. And I'd love to see Nottingham Forest win a trophy.
Yeah, so Forest win at Exeter? Yeah,
yes.
I'm agreeing with you. I don't see any way that Exeter are going to cause a surprise the way Forest are playing at the moment.
Not at all.
How about Mansfield Town then? It's a Friday night game for them against Northampton Town. Managed now by Kevin Nolan, who was at Notts County.
Yes. They've picked up under Kevin Nolan, so it's a tough game. But I think they can bounce back, Mansfield.
They need to, and it feels like
even if they get a draw, but I think they can get a win.
Yeah. And how about Notts County, home to Morecambe, struggling down the bottom, next to bottom?
I think that's, listen, no disrespect to Morecambe. The club's in a bit turmoil in Morecambe. Yeah. I think they could be going in, money problems. You name it, the manager's got the problems. It has to be a Notts County win by a country mile.
So we're going for a hat-trick this weekend?
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay. Yes. Fantastic. Well, fingers crossed that happens again. It's happened several times this season. Thank you very much, Charlie, for being with us as always, and thanks to Paul Hart, who was with us earlier on in the programme. You watch us again on YouTube and on Notts TV if you've missed any of it. And we'll see you again at the same time next week. Bye-bye.